Welcome back to Memphis Motorsports Park for the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Spring Nationals. Army Armstrong and Gary Lee. Round one action continuing. To your left, the Carolina Crusher. To the right, Nightmare.
Gary, what we're going to be looking at is Steve Haston, Nightmare, the same truck he's been running for about 6 or 7 years. It's a GMC, but he goes up against a brand new Gary Porter prepared Wadesville, North Carolina-based Carolina Crusher. Fiberglass body, really looking good, Gary.
Well, Nightmare looks like he got the good jump, but here comes Gary Porter, the Carolina Crusher. Nightmare's in trouble.
Okay, perfect example on this run. The older suspension trucks are too stiff. They're rigid. That's why he has had problems. Meanwhile, Porter goes through with the new sponge-type suspension, and he'll go into the next round.
Well, a new paint job to go along with that new fiberglass body truck. And here is the good jump off the start. And here's the difference right here as they land that first time.
Okay, you notice how Porter stays close to the ground. Hess is bouncing all over. The race is over for all intents and purposes, Gary Lee.
And of course, with the new suspensions, simply meaning more money spent on the trucks to be competitive. And that's kind of the rule of motorsports. How fast you want to go, how competitive you want to be, how much money you want to spend.
That's exactly what it's all about. Now, speaking of spending money, nobody knows anything at all about this next vehicle coming out. We know that he comes out of Cobra Creek, Colorado. He goes by the name of Colt Cobra, and he doesn't mess with anybody. He came in, he stayed all to himself. He's going to be going up against Tennessee's own John Moore with the truck they call No Problem.
Talk about problems, though. They had problems with their tow rig getting in here.
Yeah, it was completely demolished in a highway accident. Gary Cook, the owner of the Equalizer, had to go back and pick up the No Problem team and bring them down here. But the question now, what's the story on the snake bite truck? Hey, John Moore's not afraid of it. He's going after him.
But once again, a lot of bouncing between those cars, and who's going to win it? Moore
yeah.
by a nose.
Moore comes back on the big end, the short wheelbase truck. That would have to be considered an upset.
So John Moore in the Ford product takes the measure of Snakebite, but watch, Snakebite had him all the way until the very end of this run.
The second set of ramps, we opened the show telling you about him right there. He misses those ramps, Gary. He was completely out of shape. Moore stayed with what's got him there, just stayed consistent. He'll go to the next round.
Well, look at this. Here is the driver of Snakebite, Colt Cobra.
I'll be back.
Okay, we'll take that promise. As we take a look now at the results going into round two, it will be Barefoot against No Problem. Wild Thing will match up against Taurus. Bigfoot will see the Carolina Crusher. And remember, the fastest second round time will have a bye to the finals.
Well, Gary, here's the Cinderella story we were telling you about. Jim Booker, this time yesterday, had never been in a monster truck. He drove it around a pit area, won his first round, but it's going to get tougher as you go deeper into this field because old Taurus is going to be pulling up on the left lane, going heads up to him. Taurus, again, one of the new trucks, the soft truck. This is the driver's father, Jack Willman Sr., Jr. doing the driving, sponsorships by the Tonka Toy Company. But in order to win, you got to be first on the other end, and look at that, Gary Lee.
Willman cut a good line, had the horsepower. Look at the air, and he has the victory.
Yeah, but Gary, the truck's doing the same thing. It noses over to the left, and he still goes a 6:81, under 7 seconds on this track, Gary.
Remember, that's important because the fastest run will have a bye to the finals. Willman got the good jump, then powered through that second set of cars, takes the victory, but it was not without some problems. Here's Army.
What's the problem down here?
I broke a couple rear shock bolts. It's kind of minor. We just, need to get on it and get her fixed.
You will be able to get back in the next round?
I believe so. I don't know how much time we got, but we're going to try.
What a great story. Son driving for father, and they're trying to get that truck ready for the next round of competition here in Memphis. So you go from driver to mechanic, and here's the guy that drives him, works on him, Andy Brass in Bigfoot 8 out of St. Louis, Missouri, along with Gary Porter, the Carolina Crusher. These guys have faced each other many times before.
You know, that's so very true, but every time they go to the starting line, they put the war paint on. The friendship goes out the window. It's the first one to the other end. The 681 is quick time. Brass drills the left lane, comes out going hard. Look at this run, Gary. Again.
Oh, Andy Brass, he almost goes out of bounds, just barely keeps it in. Let's check the time. Look at that.
Hey, Gary, check these numbers. A 6:43 out of the left lane, but a lot of damage to be done to the vehicles. Everybody's landing cockeyed to the left. Replay's going to show us right now.
coming right at you. Watch Andy Brass and Bigfoot land hard on the left side tires. That Bigfoot may have stubbed a toe on that one as they look at some possible damage. Let's talk to Andy Brass.
Every time you and Porter go together, it's like an old-time street fight. There's no difference right there.
That's right. You know, Gary's been running strong. He's built one of the new trucks. It's been running real good, and we just had to stay with it, you know. And like I said, I got knocked out of qualifying a little earlier, so I'm trying to get used to the track now, and I'm just playing as hard as I can.
Here's another new truck that's been running very, very good. Fred Schaefer, Pontoon Beach, Illinois, in barefoot, the Chevrolet. And he takes on the Ford, no problem, John Moore out of Lafayette, Tennessee.
Well, this is kind of an awkward situation to be in because one of these trucks is going to make it through the next round. The other one's going to go on a trailer. The Tonka-sponsored vehicle, Chevrolet left lane barefoot. He's your current world champion in the SRO pace category. Looks to be manhandling the Ford. Oh, Gary, he completely cleared the last set of cars.
Well, let's take a look now at the time to see if he can get that bye into the finals. Remember, the time to beat was 6:43. He doesn't do it. A 6:57. That means that Bigfoot will have the bye to the finals. Look at the air. Watch this second jump.
He cleared the last car by about 8 feet. Gary, everybody paid a price to get through that round.
We are ready for the semifinal action here at Memphis Motorsports Park, part of the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Spring Nationals.
Gary, look at the lineup. The SRO National Champion Barefoot, he'll be going against the Taurus. He represents the USA organization. And Bigfoot, he'll be representing TNT. Only 3 alive in Memphis at this time.
And Army Bigfoot will have the bye to the finals. He had the quickest quarterfinal round.
Well, Gary, down to 3, all these youngsters, they know the trucks they're going to be pulling for because all the trucks in the final are going to be sponsored by a major toy company. The Tonka trucks will be going to see who's going to run against Bigfoot. He's sponsored by Hot Wheels.
Well, there's a look at Taurus, the 88 GMC, sponsored by Tonka. And there's a look at Barefoot, the 90 Chevrolet, also sponsored by Tonka.
Well, Gary, the handwriting's on the wall. In order to get to the final here, you had to run the latest state-of-the-art chassis design.
Well, this is a shootout between Barefoot and Taurus for the right to meet Bigfoot in the championship here at Memphis, Tennessee.
And laying all the cards on the table, I'm going to be very upfront. There is no love at all between these two trucks.
Well, both get a good start side by side, but over the second one, oh, it's out of bounds for Barefoot. Barefoot will be disqualified. They lose the left rear tire on Taurus. He's in trouble.
These guys, I keep referring to an old-time street fight. Man, this was a classic example. Barefoot disqualified. Taurus goes so hard. Look on the final jump. Now, they're clearing the first jump now, but I want you to watch Wellman. Right now, he literally pulls the trigger and clears by about 5 or 6 cars that final jump as he goes past his father, who, by the way, is dodging to get away from Barefoot.
He's jumping behind that telephone pole right there to miss Barefoot, as Barefoot is disqualified for going out of bounds. Now, father and son look over the damage to the left rear.
But he went out of bounds.
Yeah, the tire ain't broke on the front. It's talking money. I mean, I had the bars holding it. I mean, I could go over the cars.
Okay.
I mean, seriously, if we can get some air.
Gary, I think they're going to try to get back in this thing.
Give us a few minutes, get some air.
Do we got 5 minutes? Ask him. Tell him I can run.
Taurus says he can run if he's got 5 minutes.
Well, we need some air. We need some air.
You got it.
Well, he might not be much of a match for Bigfoot in the finals, but they're going to try it. Let's look again. Now watch, they're very even right here. Now watch Barefoot head out of bounds and look at the air as he noses down. But once again, young Willman keeps the foot on the throttle and powers out. Well, Army, check and see if he can make the finals.
Okay, Jack, you got a 5-minute clock going for you. Can you make it?
Yeah, all I need is a little bit of air. I done some more damage under there, but as long as I can make the pass, you know, I can get second place. It was a tough run.
A little bit of air. Look at the rear tire. Looks like it's major damage.
Yeah, well, the front bead is off, which is obvious to see, and the back is on, so it'll take air just as soon as I can get air. So we're talking a couple minutes, and I can be back on the track.
We'll see you there.
Thank you.
Bigfoot and Taurus in the finals from Memphis.